Hi, I'm Auntie Sharon, host of Mary's Eclectic Interest, and today we have a special guest with us, Joy Sorich. Hi, Joy.
Well, hello, Auntie Sharon.
Joy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am a culinary instructor in Woodbury, Minnesota, that is.
Oh.
And I also have an organic tea company that's online called Cup of Joy Tea.
Oh, you do? Oh.
I do. So here we have tea and scones.
Oh, perfect combination.
Perfect combo, yes.
Is that what we're going to be making?
We are. We are going to be making one of actually my favorite scone recipe. This one is a traditional English scone recipe, and it was given to me by a chef at the Four Seasons many years ago. In traditional English scones, they actually use cake and bread flour.
Oh, they do.
Yes, so this recipe calls for two kinds of flours, sifted. But if you didn't know this, cake and bread flour actually make all-purpose flour.
Really?
So for the sake of convenience for us and not wanting to sift, we are having all-purpose flour tonight. We'll be making these up. We'll be creaming our butter and our sugar first.
Okay.
We'll be mixing our dry ingredients here, and then we'll be incorporating our dry into our creamed sugar butter. And then we will add our cream into here. So let's get started.
All right.
First, I'm going to have you, this is baking powder.
Okay.
I'm going to have you put it into this 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And this is 2 tablespoons of baking powder. So there's a lot of baking powder. There's no baking soda. This is our leavening. And then in here, we're going to cream our sugar and our butter. So we're going to just kind
Is it real butter or margarine?
Oh, I only do real butter. This happens to be Kerrygold butter. I love the Irish butter because it's happy grass-fed cows, and it's just got a great flavor, and it's very good butter.
Organic's really good.
Organic is great. Of course, I'm sure that we could find some really good Wisconsin
Oh, yes.
butter as well. Okay, so this is okay. We are going to just kick this up a notch just to get it creamed a little bit. Now the trick to having great scones is it does have a lot of butter. But you want your butter to be chilled before you bake it because there are all these layers that develop when it's chilled. So you want the butter to stay in the dough so it can kind of layer. And that's where you get that yummy flakiness versus if you don't chill it, you end up having the butter all like just pool out. I don't know if you've ever baked cookies or biscuits and you don't refrigerate them before you stick them in the oven. Everything bleeds out onto the paper or onto your tray.
So that's why mine turned out that way.
That's the trick.
Okay.
All right, so our butter's creamed, and I'm gonna have you, my baby whisk, I'm gonna have you just
that's
whisk
cute.
that powder, baking powder in to there. Yeah, just get it incorporated really well, and then we will incorporate that in to here.
This is very good.
That looks
That
great.
is good.
Yep. All right, and we're just gonna put this down.
I love butter.
My sister used to eat butter, like a cube of it, at the table. I never could quite understand that.
That's like my daughter.
she liked doing that. All right. So, do you want to give this a go?
Oh, sure.
All right. So we're gonna try to get that into here without making too much of a mess. Yes. I'll kind of give you a hand here.
Let's see if we can get it around here.
Actually, let's just take this off for a moment. All right.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's coming pretty good.
Yep, okay. We'll stop here. We'll
Okay.
just incorporate this first bit,
All right.
and then we'll add the rest. Whoop, not that fast.
And that's what happens to me all the time.
All right, wait a minute. Okay.
So, sometimes when I do that, I end up with flour all over myself.
All over, yeah. There we go. Okay,
That's good.
and then we can go ahead and just kind of try to put the rest of that in there. So believe it or not, this is a half a recipe.
It is?
Yes. When I first got this recipe, it was a recipe for like 100 people.
Oh,
so I
wow.
batched it down, and it's now for, this makes quite a bit, just a half. A full recipe is
I think we're good.
7 cups. Okay, so you
Should we
can
put this
kind
over
of,
here?
yes. Okay. So I just want to give you kind of a look of what
All
this
right.
looks like.
Put this back here real quick.
It's kind of like pea-shaped,
Oh,
which is,
yeah.
and the trick, you can kind of just see small little clumps. The
Yeah.
trick is not to overwork the dough once we start getting the,
See, I would have, looking
Where's
at it, so
our-
I'm not the greatest at cooking, but I would have looked at that to say that, oh, it needs to be done more, but it's more like a granule.
it is. So this is very, I mean, it's almost identical to biscuits.
Okay.
You don't, it's not a super wet dough, and you don't want to overwork it because then you end up with tough discs and it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
taste great. So the trick is going to be to get this back down because
Oh, it's kind of thick there.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get this closed. There we go. I have a mini here, so that's probably
Okay.
okay. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just stream this in, and this is heavy whipping cream. And I'm not dumping the whole thing in, I'm kind of watching, see how it's starting to go together.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
So that may be enough.
Oh,
And I
really?
have all that left. Yeah, we're going to see if it's enough.
So it's kind of like from the look of it. you
Yes,
go by.
definitely. If I put all of this in, it would end up being very wet.
Okay.
And when it gets really wet, it's not going to make very good scones. You don't want it too wet. So we didn't really work this dough too much.
No,
but
not at all.
what I want to do is I want to just check when you're not doing it in a big bowl and you're doing it in a mixer, you just want to look at the bottom underneath.
Oh, to make sure that it's
Can you
not all
see
flour down there.
Yep,
Yes, it does look like it's mixed.
yep. Okay. So, for those that can't see in my bowl, this is kind of what it looks like. And we are going to turn this out now onto here,
Okay.
and we're going to make a big wedge.
Do you want this to lay out further?
Whoops.
Put this
Yeah,
out further?
go ahead.
Okay.
I've got this on here really good, which is
So-
okay.
So this is all we used of the cream, so we're done with the
I
cream?
know. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It called for
So
quite a bit, but it's not.
It does,
it's
but
not.
we only used one. Let's
Yep.
see. So we used about
I used.
a third.
There was about 2 1/4 cups, and I used about 3/4 of the cup out
3/4.
of that. So not
Okay.
very much,
All right, so we'll put
which
that back
is
here.
really surprising.
Okay.
I'm just gonna turn this out since I can't seem to get this guy off. All right.
Yeah, it's really crumbly. See, now in my mind, I would have probably added more water.
Or more
Or
cream.
more cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, that's where it gets tricky, because if you do that, you'll see, if you see that, it holds together.
Yes.
So we're gonna just,
Yeah, that does, and it feels very moist.
so those of you watching, you may just want to use a big old bowl and just get in there with your hands, because
Yeah.
sometimes these do, it gets a little more challenging. Okay, so I love parchment paper.
Yeah.
And I will actually just kind of munch this together.
Oh, that's really
Just to kind of, especially since I don't want to overwork the dough,
yes.
because that's where it can get.
And yet with your hands, with all the oils in your hands too.
So I'm just going to make this into a big circle. And if I was, you can do this two ways. We're going to wedge it like pieces of pizza.
Okay.
And then you could take a 2 or 3 inch cookie cutter and just cut circles. That's another way to do this.
I just love scones, and especially warm.
Oh yeah.
There's different kinds that you can make too, right?
Lots, yes.
Yeah.
So this one is going to be just a plain scone. We're going to serve. We're going to serve it with curd, and I made some Devonshire cream.
Ooh.
And I'll talk about what goes in Devonshire cream.
Okay.
You can also, with the cream that we used, you can take, if you wanted to infuse your scone with like a flavor like Earl Grey, you could take a tea sack, put your loose leaf Earl Grey in there, and tie it up, and then heat your cream, and just to a heavy simmer. Dump the bag in, let it steep for about 20 minutes, and then pull it off, and then you can have infused cream.
Oh, wow.
So actually you don't need to do even that long for steeping, but it'll actually infuse the cream with whatever flavor tea, in this case it'd be
nice.
Earl Grey, and so you'd have kind of that fun part of that too.
That would be nice. And then you can also, to the batter, add stuff too?
You can add currants, you can add cranberries, cherries. I like to put lemon zest in mine.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see that's kind of what we got. And now we'll go ahead and put this down. So we're going to cut this.
Like pizza.
Exactly that. Would you like to do the honors and do some of these? So we could get quite a few out of here.
I like this.
Yeah.
This cuts really nice. And even.
Yes, this is a bench scraper.
Do you want more than that cut? Or is that pretty
That's
good?
fine. That's fine. That's going to be a huge scone.
Should I cut it down?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do just.
I just like big stuff.
I know. Well, you can. You can.
That's okay. We'll cut them a little bit smaller. We could have a couple big and a couple small.
Sure.
We can vary it. How's that?
That looks awesome.
I like that.
I do too. Okay. All right. Where did that little whisk go? Oops.
There we go.
Okay, so we're going to brush the top of this with an egg.
Oh.
Another thing you could brush the top of it with would be milk,
Okay.
but I like to do egg. That's what I'm used to doing. So, so we're just going. Yeah, it's just a light brush. So, not soaking it, but you just want to. It's going to just kind of make it shiny. So
shiny
if you
and,
want to do
and a
that.
nice flavor too on top.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And then I have this really nice sparkling finishing sugar. And
Ooh,
we'll sprinkle that on top.
I love butter. This almost looks like butter to me.
Yeah, it does. And you know, as you noticed, we didn't work the dough too much.
No, you didn't. And that is the key. I've heard that before. Don't work it too hard, and
Right.
it does something to the flavor too, doesn't it?
Well, yes, I guess it would, because your gluten is changing.
Okay.
It's more about the texture probably than the taste.
Okay. I got a little chunk right there, but that should probably
Yeah.
blend right together with it.
Yeah. With all that butter, it's going to hold together.
Yep. Okay, that looks beautiful.
Okay, so we'll just sprinkle this.
That's very sparkly. It's like, reminds me of winter.
Yeah, it's
Shh. We don't want snow yet.
no snow.
So that's just
This is just,
sparkling. So it's just like a larger piece of sugar.
yes, it's like that pretty colored sugar you can get at some of the tea shops.
Nice.
Yeah, this one it's sparkling bright sugar from India Tree is the company that made this particular one. I bought it at Sur La Table.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to take
Looks
this
great.
guy. Here we are. So we can.
So then you put them on here
We
individually?
are, yes.
Okay.
We're going to just get these up.
And you know, it doesn't take very long to make this.
No. The neat thing about these is you can freeze them. You freeze them on a tray, and then you just label a bag, a freezer bag, with the date and what they are. And I like to write the temperature of what I'm going to bake them at. So you can bake these from a frozen state.
Oh, wow.
And you do that at 400 to 425 degrees. So you put them in the oven and bake them center rack 15 to 20 minutes. So that's frozen state. If you're just, if they're cold refrigerated, you can get them in the oven at 375 and for about 12 to 15 minutes, I'd say.
Okay. And so does this go right into being baked, or do we put this in the refrigerator for
We
a while?
are going to chill this first because, as I said, I don't know if you can see the layers of butter in there.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So when you get that, keep that cold, and then you put it in the oven, it will help it. It'll puff up instead of out onto the tray.
Oh, wow,
Because the
that's
butter,
good.
the layers of butter is what the key is. If you've ever had a croissant,
Yeah, I love croissants.
so croissants kind of are the same way. You have to chill it first.
You do.
And if you don't, the croissant the butter just bleeds out all over the tray because it's made with so much butter. There are actual butter blocks, and you make books with the butter in the dough.
Wow.
But you want to chill it before you
Okay.
bake it, and then that will make it puff up really pretty. So,
Okay.
all right. So we,
Yeah, no-
I think, need an additional tray, but we'll
Yeah.
get this in the fridge.
Okay.
And then we're going to have some clotted cream and lemon curd with this.
Okay.
So clotted cream, or Devonshire cream is how it's known, was made before they had butter back in the day in England. So originally they would take cream and just let it sit out, and then it would kind of clot. And then they would make butter out of that, or they would use it to like cream, clotted cream. So it's clotty. And then and there are still recipes to make traditional clotted cream. We're doing a faux clotted cream, and it's probably maybe safer because we're using a cold whipped cream. And mascarpone cream and just a very small amount of sugar. So you can do that in here, you can do it with just beaters, but you take whipping cream to about 8 ounces of mascarpone. You start to whip up your whipped cream first, and then you, once you get soft peaks forming on the whipped cream, you add the mascarpone in with a little bit of sugar, and you just cream it till it's kind of fluffy. And so I prepared that beforehand. So we'll,
I think we should put this in the fridge, and we'll be right back. Okay. Well, we're back, and now I have the wedges in the freezer. And I think earlier you made some round ones.
I did.
So these are done.
They are. Awesome. So we have the Devonshire cream here. And you can kind of see it's a lot thicker than regular whipping cream, and it has a little bit of just a tiny bit of a tang, but yummy. And then we have our lemon curd. It's very thick. The curd is actually the base that you make to make lemon cream or souffle-like pudding type things. You can fold whipped cream into that, and then you have a lemon cream.
Oh, wow.
And you could serve it up in a little cute little glass, parfait thing, and put strawberries on it, and make it really cute. So anyway, that
nice.
You could use this for more than just scones. So let's go ahead and cut this guy. We'll see how we're gonna get this going.
Now you can cut them like that, or you can just put them in, just go down.
Yeah, you can also cut it open this way, or you can cut it right down the middle. And I like to just slather a little bit on each side. I mean, of course, another really great.
That looks so good.
Another great jam is raspberry strawberry with this. All right.
Probably anything would be good.
Yes. So you want a dollop of Devonshire? I think you do, right?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh, that looks so good.
Okay, get that on there.
I can't wait to taste it.
Okay, there you go.
Look at that.
Cheers.
Oh, yes. Cheers. Here you go. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so good. This is delish. I love that.
Good,
I love the tanginess. This is great, guys. And I wish you could taste it with us.
You have to make it at home. It's a great way to spend some time with friends.
Yeah. Well, I am so glad that you came.
Thank you.
And I learned a lot about scones and how to make them in that. And I can't wait to try it myself at home.
Yeah.
And when the wedges get done,
Yes.
we're going to have lots of fun eating.
Yes. What do you think about the Devonshire cream?
I really like
It's
it.
different than a regular whipped cream,
It
right?
is.
A little more dense, but very creamy.
I like the fact that it's dense because with whipped cream, it's more watery. And it kind of, as it gets warmed up, it kind of falls off.
Yes.
And this is not falling off.
No, it's got some structure to it, so it'll stay put for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having different, like you said, putting the Earl tea in there and other flavors, it'd be great. But this lemon, you can't go wrong with lemon. That's a great combination.
Yes. It brightens, lemon brightens anything.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could eat lemon on
Good.
anything. So,
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoy them.
yes. Well, you know what? This would be really good with?
What?
This would be really good with some tea.
I think you're right. I think I'm hearing that simmering.
Oh, yes.
It's not quite to a boil, but can you hear it just starting to
Yes.
simmer?
I do.
That simmer would be the perfect time to have green tea.
Yeah. Oh, really? There's different timing for different kinds of teas?
There is a different timing for different teas. Green
Really?
tea and white tea, you don't want it at a full boil because you'll burn the leaves.
I did not know that.
That's why a lot of times people don't like green tea because it was made with boiling water. And it'll burn the
Oh.
leaves and it makes it real bitter and astringent.
Yeah, I have noticed. I just like popped in my thing and let it sit there while I'm drinking it and didn't realize, and I guess it got a little bitter.
Yeah, it pulls out all of the tannins and the astringency and the caffeine. So,
Okay.
and then you get that kind of pucker dry and that bitter. So yeah, but green tea tastes beautiful when it's steeped at the proper temperature.
I can hear it sizzling more. Can you
Yeah.
hear that?
Yep,
Yeah, so this right now would be when we would take it off to have green tea.
it would.
So when would you take it off if you wanted to have black tea or some other kinds of teas?
Or maybe like an uncaffeinated rooibos.
Okay.
When it whistles, boiling.
When it whistles.
Or when you can hear it fully boiling.
Okay.
Which is 212 degrees if you actually had a thermometer.
Okay.
So, yep.
And then the temperature before it boils is what?
The temperature before it boils for green, when it's simmering, is around 185.
185.
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 180 to 185 is good for green.
Okay.
And then there's a tea in between green and black called oolong, and that
Ooh, yes, I've had
that is a very good tea. It's slightly oxidized, and the temperature for that is around 190 to 200.
Oh.
Not quite full boiling, but a little more than a simmer. It's just sort of where it's simmered that wants to sort of start to boil, but it's not quite there yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. Are we going to wait for it to whistle and then we're going to have some black tea?
We are going to have some black tea, but I think we may need to go and get our scones out of the freezer
Oh,
so we can
that's
bake
right.
those
Yes.
before. But that has a few more minutes to
right.
whistle.
Well,
Yeah.
while we go and do that, we will see you next time on Mary's Eclectic Interests. I'm Auntie Sharon, the host, and thank you, Joy, for being here.
Thank you.
And when you come back, we're going to have scones and tea. All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.